Hello, everybody, and welcome as we are here at the KCAC here on IUP campus for today's matchup between the IUP Crimson Hawks and the California Vulcans. My name is Andrew White. Joined alongside me, as always, is Braxton Turner with special guest Hunter Garman as well. Braxton, how you feeling about tonight's matchup?
Man, I'm feeling pretty good. Excited to see both of these teams play, as at least from what I've seen in our history between these two schools, there's always some animosity, some competition between the both of us. So there's definitely going to be a good game today.
And then if you want, Hunter, how are you feeling about this game, joining alongside me and Braxton for what should be somewhat of a nail-biter?
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about this game. It's going to be a really good game. Interesting to see. California, as we've probably seen before the past 3 times for the women's, have been in overtime matchups, all of them which have been nail-biters. So it'll be interesting to see if this one makes its way to being game number 4 in overtime, or if we'll have a game that's decided in regulation.
That is a very good point, as the California Vulcans have been a part of many close games, luckily have been able to come out on top as they ride a 5-game winning streak coming into tonight's matchup. Starting lineups being announced for both teams, as we have a pretty packed crowd here tonight, more than usual, at least for the California Vulcans, as we have some fans that have also traveled from California themselves.
I feel like for both always IUP games, if anything, the California fans always make sure to travel for these.
For sure, especially since, as we know, looking at standings, both Cal and IUP are tied for second place in the PSAC West. So definitely a game with high stakes here for both teams. As they're announcing the starters, if we take a look at our starters for California, we have number 3, Alicia Young, number 4, Nina Shaw, 22, Jordan Smith, number 24, Sierra Bermudez, and number 32, Deja Terrell. And if we look at the IUP starters, we have at number 3, Kiera Bachman, number 4, Maria Cerro, number 10, Ramina Henderson, number 20, Tiara Preston, and number 33, Grace Centrula.
We are in for quite the exciting matchup here tonight, as both teams come into the game with the same conference record of 9-3. Not something you see very often, but you'll see that for the men's and women matchups tonight, as the men's will both go into their matchups at 10-2 in the conference as well.
Yeah, I feel like at this point in the whole school's history, I feel like they can never escape each other. They always seem to be right next to each other, or the games always seem to be close and tight. But I feel like they're just stuck together.
Stuck together like glue.
Name to look out for on the side of the IUP Crimson Hawks will be Ramina Henderson, the senior out of Neptune, New Jersey, averaging 16.5 points a game, 5 rebounds, and shooting 42% from the floor. She has yet to score under 12 points in a game, so it'll be interesting to see how she fares against this California Vulcans team. As we have a tip here between Deja Terrell and Tiara Preston.
Yeah, as you were saying, the person to look out for on our side for the Vulcans is Nina Shaw. She was named the PSAC Player of the Week.
A little bit of clock management early, as it seems that they started just before the tip was actually thrown into the air. And the referee wants to make sure they get that figured out before we get going here. But building on your point there, Hunter, Nina Shaw averaging 11 points, 7 rebounds, just over 3 steals, and averaging 44 minutes per game, considering that they played 3 overtime games, and she doesn't get much of a break.
That is for sure.
As we get started here, Nina Shaw at the top of the key. Going to find Jordan Smith. Back to Shaw. So they're just going to try to get the ball moving a little bit. Shaw with the inbound to Alicia, gets tipped, finds Sierra Bermudez in the corner, in and out. And the rebound goes to number 33, Grace Centrula. Ooh, great defensive play there by Deja Terrell to intercept the pass and get in the way there, as California comes back the other way, but Jordan Smith with a quick travel.
Really fast start here on this game. I mean, as you said, a really great play by Deja Terrell in order to tip that pass, because that was looking like a quick, fast break and easy quick 2 points for the Crimson Hawks.
California without their pretty much everyday starter of Alicia Harris. She will be playing tonight as she's active, but she is not in the starting lineup as Sierra Bermudez takes her spot. And a quick travel there as well from number 4, Maria Cerro.
Seems right now that both teams are trying to go a little bit faster than what they're trying to go a little faster than what the game time is going to allow. So we'll see how many more travels are going to be as both these teams who are really fast try and just get going right out the gate.
It's been somewhat of a common theme here in these games lately, as early, just like we always have a habit of saying, getting the early game jitters out of the way as Deja Terrell driving to the right side off the backboard, no good, and the rebound to the Crimson Hawks. Pass up the floor. The take there by Kira Bachman is rejected at the rim, and the Vulcans are bringing the ball back.
And both teams just continuing just to be aggressive and head to the basket no matter what.
Nina Shaw guarded by Maria Cerro. Pass to Bermudez, almost looks to shoot from way beyond the arc. She's going to look for her teammate there and finds Jordan Smith on the right side. Smith going to drive to the middle, looking for some opportunity, goes up and no good. And the rebound once again to the Crimson Hawks.
Yeah, if Sierra Bermudez hit that shot, that'd have been shot of the game probably from that far back.
And a blocking foul there by Jordan Smith as she gets in the way of Kiera Bachman. And building on your point, Hunter, Sierra Bermudez, no limit to her range, as we've seen throughout the season. Definitely the best three-point shooter for the California Vulcans, and she is at the top of the PSAC when it comes to shooting percentages. The inbound here to Maria Cerro. Cerro guarded by Shaw. Both number 4s going to be following each other throughout the court tonight. Now Kiera Bachman with the ball. Pass to Ramina Henderson. Henderson looks in the corner. The drive there by Tiara Preston, and she's going to get the first points of the game.
Yeah, that drive by Bachman, she was lucky to stay in bounds on that. Almost looked like she walked out of bounds, but she was in fact in bounds and able to get that pass off.
Crowd picking up the noise here a little bit early after the first basket from the Crimson Hawks, and Alicia Young unable to find it as she hits it off the backboard, and the Crimson Hawks coming back the other way. Great defensive play there by Nina Shaw to stop Cerro. Cerro up top getting double teamed. Pass over to Bachman as she gets fouled by Nina Shaw.
Yeah, start this game, you can definitely see adrenaline's running high for both of these teams.
Talked about California not really used to playing in front of so many people, so you have to think they are definitely ready to go at it right now with a little bit of adrenaline, as Braxton said, on their side.
I mean, as you were saying with the crowded stand, I mean, we were talking about it earlier, nearly like probably 3 or 4 times what we see usually in the Convocation Center at Cal is what's here tonight.
And a great pass there from Maria Cerro as she finds Grace Centrula for the bucket.
Yeah, that's why cutting off that baseline is so important. As soon as you get past the defender on that baseline, the help defender has to come over, left or wide open for an easy layup.
Vulcans trying to answer after falling down 4-0. They find Deja Terrell down low. She goes up for 2, no good. And it'll be tipped out by the Crimson Hawks and stay on this end.
And right now I feel like they're just going up a little bit too quick on the offensive end. Take your time, look for a decent shot. Maybe take a jump shot and plant your feet if that's an easier look.
The inbound there by Nina Shaw is intercepted by Kiera Bachman. She's going to come back the other way. Find Ramita Henderson in the corner. 4-3 off the front rim and no good. It'll be tipped out and stay on this side. And a deep 3 there by Bachman, and it's no good. Alicia Young comes down with the rebound.
Yeah, definitely one thing you want to, if you're Cal, you definitely want to watch, as we were talking about before the game even started, watching some of the players warm up. The quick corner 3 is something that if you're Cal, you really want to watch out for.
And a great block there. 2 blocks there by Grace Centrula guarding Deja Terrell, and 3 blocks as Maria Cerro strips it from Deja Terrell's hands. And a quick drive. Ramina Henderson gets the basket and the foul.
Wow, what just a quick sequence of events for the Crimson Hawks. I mean, as you said, Grace Centrula, absolute beast down there on defense. The 6'1" junior from Cincinnati, Ohio, absolutely playing to her strengths. That is using her height to her advantage. Able to block Deja 3 times.
Deja Terrell is always good at kind of sticking at it, but right there on that side, you have to think maybe it was worth kind of kicking it out. Nonetheless, IUP off to a quick 7-0 lead here, and this is exactly the start that they were hoping for as Alicia Harris checks into the game for Alicia Young.
Yeah, Alicia Harris still filling her way back into the lineup as she missed, was in the last game but played limited minutes, sat out against Pitt Johnstown, so still looking forward to finding her feet.
Right there, she takes it to the rim, no good as it goes off the side of the backboard. Gets her own rebound out to Deja Terrell. She gets it back to Alicia Harris. It's tipped and Bermudez recovers. Deja Terrell going to take a deep three off the backboard and rim, no good. Seems California is starting a little bit jittery to start this game as they haven't found the basket yet. And Janeria Scott right there, I didn't realize that she had checked in with the slight turnover and the foul. And it'll come back in the Vulcans' favor.
Yeah, definitely if you're Cal, this is not the start that you want to have to this game, especially with the stakes at play. Definitely trying to look at slow it down and get at least something going here to start this game.
Nina Shaw bringing it up for the Vulcans. They're still looking for their first points of the game. Deja Terrell trying to post up on the high post. She's going to set the screen. Nina Shaw with the pump fake. She finds Terrell on the roll. Off the backboard, no good. Alicia Harris with the follow and the bucket.
Great awareness there by Alicia Harris to get the rebound and put it back up to get those 2 points and get Cal finally on the board.
So maybe break the ice a little bit as California was scoreless up to that point. The pass out here to Grace Centrilla. A long three off the back rim and no good. Nina Shaw going to let it go out of bounds, and it's going to come back the other way.
As we get a sub, well, actually, we're going to jump to a media timeout. We're going to keep it here. So, I mean, what a start to this game. Definitely something, if you're California, you are definitely going to be talking it over during this timeout, trying to work things out and get something going here.
Yeah. I'm telling you, this is where emotions and keeping that mind game in check is so important at this point. Right now, California, 1 of 11 from the field. A couple easy looks that they've just missed, and that just means that they're in their own heads, and their jitters are just on an all-time high. And that's understandable, especially in a game like this that we've seen, but it's just so important to try to calm down and gain control of yourself at least as much as you possibly can in a game like this.
It's a big game here in the PSAC West. Because like we said, both teams are tied for second in the conference. And in front of a big crowd like this, you have to think that it's going to be a lot. So, I mean, pregame jitters, got to get it out of the way. Alicia Harris did a good job of getting the team on the board and hopefully kind of calming them down a bit.
Yeah, on the contrary, if you're IUP, you're loving the start that you've got so far for your team. Probably just looking at to continue doing what you're doing, keep getting the points up, keep playing the great defense that they've been doing, and in order to keep the Vulcans at bay.
You got to wonder if maybe fatigue comes into play as California coming off 3 overtime games, as Hunter said earlier. They were able to come out on top in each one of those games. But just the fact that, they're playing 45 minutes in comparison to 40, it's tough to kind of bounce back. As Nina Shaw with the ball, driving up the left side, finds it off the backboard, no good. The rebound by Alicia Harris, and the kick out to Jordan Smith. Nina Shaw gets it back. Top of the key, she finds Harris down low. Harris puts it up, and off the rim and no good as that bounced everywhere but the bottom. The Crimson Hawks coming back the other way.
And that's just unfortunate. Just like the easy shots just aren't falling just yet.
Somebody better check that rim as it was bouncier than usual.
As my dad would say, they put a lid on top of it.
Exactly what I was thinking. As number 4, Maria Cerro with the ball up top. Gets the screen. Goes to drive on the left side. Gets it to Nashe. And Nashe puts it up for her first basket of the night as she came off the bench.
What a great look there by Cerro. Able to find Weaver underneath the net just at the right place at the right time and able to get that pass over to her and up for the quick 2.
Shea Weaver, a non-starter that's averaging 10 and 9.5 points. Sierra Bermudez puts up the 3, no good, but Alicia Harris playing aggressive, gets the rebound, can't make the lay-in, but gets another one back out to Bermudez, another 3 off the back rim and no good. And it's going to be a foul there on Deja Terrell as she boxed out a little bit too hard.
Yeah, they're going to get Terrell on that off-ball foul. It's going to be her first foul of the game, I believe, and it's going to be possession for the Crimson Hawks.
Yeah, I feel like at this point in the game, at least from the Pitt Johnstown to the one, she's had a couple of those. Just you have to love her aggressiveness, but you just hope she kind of tames it just so she doesn't get into early foul trouble.
We did stress that a lot in the Pitt Johnstown game, how I think it was like 3 or 4 of her 5 fouls in the game were off-ball fouls. So it's nice to see her playing aggressive, but also the refs are kind of keeping an eye on her as they know what her tendencies are. Janera Scott with the pass down low, and Elisa Harris is going to get that with no problem, and the Vulcans are going to come back the other way. Nina Shaw at the top of the key, guarded by Scott. Pass over to Jordan Smith. She hands it off to Iona Williams. Pass to Alicia Harris in the middle, back out to Smith. Smith on the drive to the left side. Looks for Harris. The pass a little bit too low, but she still comes up with it. Finds Nina Shaw on the outside. She's going to hesitate, but takes the 3 and off the backboard and in. Luckily, they have the early game today, and the bank is still open.
What a shot there by Nina Shaw. Able to just realize where the defenders are, where everything is, and able to take that quick 3 and off the backboard.
Maria Serra on the drive. The pivot foot goes up, and she's going to get fouled. And that'll be Jordan Smith's second of the game.
Man, I've talked about this before, but silly fouls, you have to learn how to keep them to a minimum at this point. Like, at that point in time, that foul almost really wouldn't have hurt to see. She just would have let her go at that point. But it's just so important to get the fouls that just don't matter.
First one is good by Maria Serra. And, I mean, adding on to your point, you kind of touched on it last game. If you're going to foul, at least make it worth it. And right there, that seemed like a foul that didn't really change the outcome, but nonetheless, Jordan Smith now on the bench with 2. Second free throw there by Serra was no good, and the rebound by Kamaya Williams, the freshman. Nina Shaw trying to orchestrate some offenses. They're getting off to quite the slow start. Drive to the left side. She's going to kick it out to Bermudez in the corner. Has a little bit of room, in and out. The ball goes out of bounds, and it's going to stay on this end. As they say, it went off Weaver.
Yeah, if you're Cal, that's a lucky break in order to get that ball back. It was a good look, but unfortunately just didn't fall.
Kara Bachman checking back into the game for Janera Scott of the Crimson Hawks. Deja Terrell, the mid-range jumper, no good, but she gets the follow. Iona Williams with it now and gives it to Nina Shaw. Shaw at the top of the key, the pass over to Bermudez. Bermudez with the pass to Kamaya Williams. Back over to Deja Terrell. Terrell looking for it, finds Kamaya Williams. Kamaya Williams puts it up. Kind of a last-second shot there, and it goes out of bounds as Deja Terrell and Williams were trying to double-team there on the rebound.
Man, this point in time, and IUP's defense is just top-notch. And if you're the Vulcans, there's been a couple times where they've just been forced by the shot clock. So that means you kind of want to push the tempo as early as possible just to get a better look.
Mina Henderson hands it off. Pass over in the corner to Cerro. Cerro stepped on the line before she got to drive, and it's going to come back the other way.
Yeah, that there just comes down to a little bit of court awareness, where you're at on the floor. Definitely you want to keep your feet inbounds, especially on a baseline drive.
Yeah, those corners, you especially don't have as much freedom of movement.
Bermudez with the pass to Kamaya Williams. Over to Iona Williams. She's going to spin and look for it off the board. No good. The rebound by Terrell. She puts it back up. No good. Weaver almost comes down with it, but instead, Cerro gets it on the follow, and the Crimson Hawks are coming 5-on-4. Pass over to Bachman. Bachman puts up the 3, and she finds it.
What a shot there by Kiera Bachman. Again, as we had said before, that side to corner 3 is going to be tough to guard, especially, as you said, 5-on-4, leaving that open man open.
The drive there by Nina Shaw, and she gets fouled. And just touching base on that last basket by Bachman. She knows California to a T, as last year in their last game of the season, she was able to drop 27 points on 6 3-pointers. So not something that she is unused to, as she nails her first 3 of the night there. Nina Shaw at the line. First one no good. Shaw about a week ago was sitting at 87% free throw shooter, now down to 80 and misses the first there. And The second one off the front rim and backboard, and it falls. 13-6 here with 37 seconds left in the first quarter. Somewhat of a slow start for both teams, but mainly the Vulcans.
Yeah, definitely not the quarter you wanted if you're California. Not the way you wanted the game to start. Down, as you said, 13-6. Shot clock at 13. It's about a 6-second difference between the shot clock and the game clock, so they're probably just going to try and play to last shot.
And a great drive and finish there by Maria Cerro as she kind of crossed up Nina Shaw up top and was able to find the floater off the board. Down to 2 seconds on the clock, and they're going to call somewhat of a blocking foul, so it's going to come underneath the basket. The Vulcans will have 2 seconds on the clock.
Yeah, they're going to get Weaver on that block. Be the team's third foul.
Nina Shaw will inbound for the Vulcans. 2 seconds exactly remaining. They might have just enough time to get up a shot. Iona Williams gets it on the rebound, and she's not going to be able to get the shot. As that takes us to the end of the first quarter with the score being 15-6. Not the greatest start for the Vulcans, as this is one of their lowest scoring quarters of the season. And a couple fouls for a couple players as well.
Man, these nerves have just been in an all-time high. This is probably the worst I've ever seen it. Right now, Vulcans 2 of 22 from the field, but all those attempts coming from the rebounds. 10 offensive rebounds in that first quarter. With that many second chances, you would hope they would convert on it. Right now, we have a couple of players, special key players, right now at this point in time, just struggling to really find the rhythm. Deja Terrell going 0 of 8 from the field. 2 offensive rebounds, 1 defensive rebound.
Yeah, Terrell going 0 of 8 from the field. Definitely something that we're not used to seeing. Is usually up to, like, I don't know. Usually if at home it'd probably be like what, 3-4 of 8 maybe, somewhere around there.
She's actually been known for getting off to kind of quicker starts in a lot of her games recently, as in the Pitt Johnstown game she had 8 early points in that first quarter. And I guess last game, honestly, against Mercyhurst, she was scoreless in the first half, so might just take a little time for her to get in her rhythm, and I'm sure she will eventually, but nonetheless, the Vulcans find themselves in a little bit of a deficit to start this second quarter.
Yeah, as you said, with Deja being scoreless in the first half and picking up the second, you just hope that by the time the second half rolls around, you hope you're not in such a huge deficit that even if Deja Terrell gets a ton of points, that it's, not too late.
15-6, the Crimson Hawks were able to get 3 times almost the points of the Vulcans in that first quarter, and even them didn't seem like they got off to the hottest start, so it'll be interesting to see as this game continues. Maria Cerro with the pass over to Kiera Bachman. Bachman, leading scorer for this team last year, and this year still averaging 10 a game. Pass over to Ramina Henderson. She hands it off. Pass back to Bachman. Bachman going to look for 3 again, and she finds it once again as she is getting comfortable out there.
Yeah, such a clean and confident shot by Bachman there. I mean, you can almost tell as soon as she let go of that where it was going and how it was going to end. Again, that open man on the side of the court is something that the Vulcans have struggled with all season, and just something that you just want to look at and try and avoid.
Bachman found a lot of success against the Vulcans last season. She's finding success once again as she gets the steal there from the Deja Terrell mishap, the deep pass, and she finds it, but then kind of a little miscue there, but nonetheless, Nashay Weaver comes up with it and finishes for 2.
I bet you both of them are saying that was calculated.
Sometimes all it takes is a little luck in sports, and right there they got a little lucky, but nonetheless they are 14 points ahead, 9 minutes to play here in the second quarter.
Yeah, definitely the crowd's getting into it a little bit here. Fired up after the quick couple of mishaps in the first pretty much minute or so of this second quarter.
And kind of just the out-of-control drive there by Ramina Henderson in transition. California coming back the other way. And it just seems like California not really getting the most efficient shots here early on, as they're just throwing it up and not even finding the rim on some of their shots. Hopefully they can turn it around here soon.
Yeah, some of these shots just aren't the most efficient. And when they do get inside, IUP just seems to be in all the right spots just to really throw them off.
And right there, the drive by Sierra Bermuda is no good. They're going to call the shot clock violation, as once again she missed the rim. And it's going to come back the other way for the Crimson Hawks. like you said, Braxton, the IUP just seems to be playing stellar defense, and they know what California likes to do. And besides leaving Bermudez open for a couple threes, they really haven't made any defensive mistakes. And Sierra Bermudez hasn't capitalized on those mistakes either, so they find themselves in a pretty big lead.
Yeah, now some subs came into the game. Kamaya Williams came in and for the Vulcans, and Janira Scott and Grayson Trula came back in for the Crimson Hawks.
And the sub, Kamaya Williams, making a steal right away. That's been something she's been a lot better at for this Vulcans team on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, Kamaya Williams, hasn't really played all that much this season, but in the last games we've seen, especially the Pitt Johnstown one, really came through in a big way.
And spin no good there as she tries to find it off the backboard and cannot. Kiera Bachman coming back the other way, finds Henderson. Henderson on the drive, back out to Bachman. The pump fake and the pass out. Henderson at the top of the key. Hand off to Scott. Scott going to drive, do a little step back. The lefty with the mid-range jumper, and that finds the bottom of the net.
I'm not going to lie, that was a very clean move there by Janira Scott. The quick step back floater for the quick score, and that'll lead Cal to call a timeout.
Jess Strom wants to get her team back on track here as they find themselves down 22-6. And overall in the game, shooting 2 for 25 from the floor, 8%. I mean, there is no game plan when you're shooting that low.
Yeah. Games like this, it's sometimes when your shots aren't falling, it's just detrimental, especially in a game like this. IUP scoring like they are now, 9 of 14 from the field, capitalizing and taking advantage of all the free space that Cal has just given up so far in this game.
California really not playing a terrible game besides not being able to find the bottom of the bucket as they have more rebounds and 25 shots compared to IUP's 14. They're getting their opportunities. They're just not capitalizing at the end of the day.
Yeah, shots just unable to fall. Obviously, as we've seen, as we just said, 25 shots compared to 14. It would be a much different game if every shot went in for both sides. It would be a much different game and a much different outlook.
California on the season shooting 40%. And I would say if they were shooting 40% in this game, this score, as Hunter said, would be much different than it is right now.
Much, much different.
I mean, I would say the biggest eye-opener to me so far is Deja Terrell's early struggles. She's been averaging 24.5 over her last 4 games, and right now she's held scoreless on 8 attempts. The pass there by Alicia Young just gets intercepted by Grace Centrula, and it's coming back the other way once again for the Crimson Hawks.
Yeah, Centrula using her height to her advantage. Ball just flies out of bounds there toward the crowd. But yeah, as I said, Grace Centrula using her height to her advantage, being that big person underneath the net, using the size to block the pass. It was a good look, but unfortunately it just wasn't there.
Centrula already with 2 blocks and a steal, making her presence felt on defense. Janira Scott, guarded by Alyssa Young. She's going to go over the top. Kamaya Williams kind of gets in there and tips it out of bounds. It'll stay on this end under the basket. Janira Scott on the inbound for the Crimson Hawks. Looking down low, nothing there. She's going to throw it up top to Centrula. Centrula gives it to Bachman. Bachman loses it. Alicia Young on the drive, goes back the other way, and a clean block there by Bachman as it goes off of Alicia Young's legs, and it'll come back the other way.
And that was a heads-up hustle play by Bachman. Lost the ball in the steal there, but was able to take away a shot attempt by the Vulcans.
Some substitutions coming in for the Crimson Hawks as Nashay Walker and Maria Cerro check into the game. Cerro right now, the handoff to Ramita Henderson. Henderson to Bachman. Bachman on the drive to the left side. She's going to get fouled on her way up, but no shot. So it'll come in on the sideline there for the Crimson Hawks. I mean, this is just an ideal start for IUP, and I'm sure that they are excited to get going, especially being up 16 so early. They feel like they have a little bit of cushion, a little bit of room to kind of do what they need to do. Pass in here to Bachman. Bachman going to go with the mid-ranger. She gets it off the board, gets her own rebound. No good, and Alicia Harris with the rebound for the Vulcans.
It was a good, strong rebound there. Pass was taken. On the return. Wow, foul and one.
They're going to get her with the travel.
Travel, yeah.
Oh, they got her with the travel.
Took to one too many steps.
Sometimes that's easy to do in transition when your body's just carrying so much weight, and Ramina Henderson gets called there before the bucket.
Yeah, I didn't even catch that. It looked to me like the foul.
I've made my fair share of wrong calls on many fouls this year, so I can't blame you one bit, especially when we're up here rather than being down on the floor.
You take what you get.
Maya Williams, cross-court pass to Ayanna Williams. Ayanna Williams with Shea Walker, former teammates at Alderson Broadus, now covering each other. Kamaya Williams on the drive, off the backboard, and it's good.
It's a good take there by Kamaya Williams. Able to get the drive, able to get the basket to finally fall, getting some more points for the Vulcans as they start double teaming.
Pretty great move there by Maria Serra. Just throws it up last second to try to get to the free throw line, and I believe she succeeded in that aspect as she'll go to line for two.
Yeah, Alicia Harris on that play there started to take a charge attempt, but I guess Bale at the last moment kind of put her hands out.
Maria Serra, the senior out of Bethel Park, so nearby, kind of closer to where we're located in California. Averaging 9 points a game, 3 rebounds, and 60% from the free throw line, making 21 of her 35 attempts. Makes the first.
As you can see, IUP emptying out the box there on a potential guard for a fast break if she were to miss.
Play this somewhat press where they kind of fall off as the ball keeps coming up the court, but it's just enough pressure to make the Vulcans think early on. And honestly, it takes some seconds off the shot clock each and every time. Alicia Harris gets fouled there and finishes. She'll go to the line to try to convert the and one.
Yeah, Alicia Harris, when she was out in these last few minutes that she's played, has definitely been felt for this Vulcans team, especially with the presence she has inside, especially in the rebounding department.
A lot of times when Deja Terrell is struggling, they look to Alicia Harris down low as the two kind of are the rocks of this D and offense down low. The free throw is no good, and the rebound to the Crimson Hawks. Sarah at the top. She's going to drive. She gets a little bit of a lane but loses it, and it'll come back the other way for the Vulcans.
Man, it's been a couple times right now the Vulcans have just left the lane wide open. Just right now, only called a break because she just lost the ball and mishandled it just a bit.
Yeah, there was that pseudo full court press, as you said, to start. Quick three. Wow, what a shot there.
Maya Williams with a very rare three as she finds it off the backboard. Not something you see very often, but it's something the Vulcans needed as they cut the lead down to 11. Sarah at the top finds Henderson. Henderson gets the screen from Preston. Henderson driving the middle, and once again that lane just opening wide up as she gets the 2-point lay-in.
Yeah, as you've seen, there's kind of miscommunication on the back end there. I believe it was Young just still trying to find who she was guarding, had her back turned to the ball and wasn't able to help on that drive.
Yeah, Vulcans playing man on defense, something they don't usually do. They usually play zone, but I think here they want to play man because basically everyone on the Crimson Hawk team is dangerous in their own way, so I think they want to try and spread out the defense. But obviously, as we've seen, it's been proving crucial in how the Crimson Hawks have been scoring.
2 possessions that were left empty-handed for both teams as Kamaya Williams couldn't finish the lay-in, and Tiara Preston also could not finish. So right now, Nina Shaw on the right side, looking for Alyssa Harris down low, and there's going to be a foul on Shea Weaver on the pass in.
They're going to get the hold there on Nisha Weaver.
Sierra Bermudez checking into the game for the Vulcans, and Alyssa Harris will head to the bench. And Grace Centrilla makes her way back on the floor for Nisha Walker, who just picked up, I believe, her second foul. Alicia Harris sizing up her defender, goes underneath, the up and under. No good as it touches every part of the rim but the bottom. The Crimson Hawks coming back the other way. The drive there by Cerro, no good. A great rebound by freshman Kamaya Williams. And she gets it to another freshman, Nina Shaw, over to Bermudez. Bermudez going to shoot the three, and she finds it, and they're going to say her foot was on the line. So a 2 there for Bermudez.
I don't know, from up here it looked good for me, but again, I'm not down there on the floor with the referee, so I can't make any contradicting call.
Bachman with the pass to Centrilla. Over to Preston. Preston on the pass in to Bachman gets intercepted there by Kamaya Williams, and Nina Shaw with it now. Shaw trying to set up the offense. This kind of just seemed like a little bit of a pattern for the Vulcans. They haven't gotten their offense started right off the rip. It always seems like there's like 20 to 18 seconds left when they just first get started. Right there, Ayanna Williams not paying attention to her surroundings. Loses it. Only 6 on the clock. Bermudez outside the three-point line. She's going to have to put one up, but they're going to call a reach. And luckily for the Vulcans, they'll get a little bit more time on the shot clock.
I don't even know what to call that. I thought they were going to call that on Ayanna Williams. I started seeing her hands out, but I didn't see anything more than.
It's fortunate for the Vulcans as the shot clock had gone down to 2. Now they have 20 seconds left. Well, now it's gone down to 10, but it was reset to 20. Maya Williams with the cross-court pass to Shaw. She's going to have to put up a 3, and she finds it. What a great shot there by the freshman.
What a shot by Nina Shaw.
Player of the week in the PSAC for a reason. And right there showing that she can do a lot more on the offensive end as well. Centrilla with the handoff to Henderson. Henderson at the top of the key. She hands it off to Cerro. Back to Centrilla. Over to Bachman. Bachman on the drive, the mid-range jumper, and it falls.
Quick, clean mid-range jumper there by Bachman. What a shot there. Thought about driving fully towards the basket, but ended up taking a quick jumper, and it paid off.
Bachman with a quick 8 points here early on. Sierra Bermudez 4-3, and once again, Vulcans with back-to-back three-pointers on back-to-back possessions.
And just like that, they've brought this game now to 7. So definitely picking up a little bit of steam here for the Vulcans. Let's see if they can keep it going with the final minute 15 and counting of this first half.
Pass down low from Henderson to Centrilla. Centrilla with the height advantage down low. She's going to get fouled on the follow-up rebound. They're going to call it on the floor. And that'll be the 4th foul for the Vulcans. Actually, 3rd foul for the Vulcans, so it'll stay underneath.
Man, mismatches this underneath like that with no help just can't happen, especially with the size of this Crimson Hawks team.
Shannara Scott checks into the game for Bachman. Bachman really finding her comfort zone for this Crimson Hawks team. She's the leading scorer in this game. Scott up top, guarded by Ayanna Williams. Crossing back and forth at the top of the key. Looks back door, and what a great pass right there to Tiara Preston, who finds the bottom of the bucket for 2.
Yeah, great look, great pass, and a great finish by the Crimson Hawks to extend their lead to now 9 with the final 45 seconds winding down in this first half.
Nina Shaw with an over-the-head pass to Alicia Harris. It gets tipped by multiple defenders, and it's going to stay on this end. Deja Terrell checking back into the game after missing what was pretty much that whole second period, and Alicia Harris will head to the bench. It's been a strategy that the Vulcans have been using a lot lately to kind of allow Deja Terrell to play as many minutes as she can late in the game rather than picking up fouls early on. Only 1 so far, so luckily not too much to worry about to this point. Nina Shaw with the pass over to Williams. Back to Nina Shaw. 4 on the shot clock. She's going to have to put something up. She puts up a deep 3 off the front rim and no good, and the rebound by Preston.
Just a bit too short. Cal wishing definitely that had gone in. As the shot clock is now dead, they're going to let the clock bleed out, probably try and get to final shot possibly here.
Sarah running around getting chased by 2 defenders. And they're going to call foul on Deja Terrell.
Yeah, those calls are always tricky. With the criteria of which you call those on, I guess it varies for almost any ref. Oftentimes, you'll have players that are defenders that are kind of riding the back of the offense and almost keeping their feet from stepping as they should. Sometimes they're just really close and they just fall over by themselves, but there's always a close call
Passing there to Henderson. Henderson with a great pivot move and the finish with the right hand.
As you were saying, Braxton with the quick call. A great explanation by a resident referee. Ooh, that was a very close shot.
That'll take us to the half as the score is 32-21. And we'll be back for the second half here on CUTV Sports 1 and the PSAC Network. Stay with us, please. welcome back as we're set to go here for the second period, or second half, between the Cal Vulcans and IUP. IUP with a 32-21 lead. Braxton, you want to take us through some of the stats?
Yep. Right now, both teams, Vulcan struggling to really find a footing from the field, shooting 8 of 35, 23%. IUP 13 of 23, 57%. Both teams shooting 40% from deep. Vulcans 4 of 10, and IUP 2 of 5. Free throws 1 of 3 for the Vulcans and 4 of 5 for IUP. So not too many free throws in that department. Right now, Vulcans ahead in the turnover category with 6 as compared to IUP's 10s. But the points off of turnovers is where Vulcans have really, I guess, really stuck in this game. 13 as compared to IUP's 2. And also a difference in on terms of offensive rebounding right now. Vulcans, they have 10 offensive rebounds, but just have really yet to capitalize off of it on the offensive end as compared to IUP's 3, but Vulcans being out-rebounded 21-18.
And if you're Coach Strom here, what do you think is her message to the team?
Right now, just tell them to just play within themselves, play to their abilities at this point. They may have to play a little bit out of their outside of their, I guess, their realm or comfortable realm. Right now, IUP just seems to be clogging the lanes every single time. Every chance that they get, leaving the Vulcans to really just be uncomfortable and have really yet to find their footing inside. So they may have to just settle for jump shots. So if they're not really a jump shooter, they may have to get used to it at this point in the game.
And Hunter, if you were Craig Carey on the other side for IUP, what would you tell your team?
The message I give my team is keep going. I mean, so far, if you're IUP, you're definitely satisfied with what's going on so far. Got a little bit hairy towards the end of the second, or the end of the first half, as IUP started playing a little bit more lax on defense and a little bit on offense. Kind of lost their footing a little bit when Cal brought the quick offense style. So I know, as you were saying, Braxton, about playing to your strengths. If you're IUP, the message is the same, basically. Play to your strengths and keep up the tight defense and the quick offense.
We said IUP with the 11-point lead, 32-21. California going to start the second half with possession as Nia Shaw brings it up. Shaw guarded by Cerro. Pass over to Alicia Young. Alicia Young looking down low for Terrell. Terrell scoreless in that first half for the second straight game, and right there she's going to get fouled on the shot attempt, and she'll go to the line for 2. David Terrell trying to get her shoes a little more stable. She kind of slipped there as she was going up as well. And she has her chance to get on the board finally with 2 free throws.
Yeah, they're going to get Tiara Preston on that foul. It's going to be her. It's going to be her second foul and the team's first of this half.
Deja Terrell, first one misses. 71% free throw shooter on the year. The senior out of Reading, PA, still trying to get on the board in terms of scoring. Second one off the rim and in. California cuts the lead down to 10. Cerro on the drive to the left side. She's going to bring it back out, looking down low. Finds Ramina Henderson on the other side. Henderson driving on the right side of the lane, off the backboard, and it's in. She gets going here early in the second half.
Yeah, Henderson saw she had the lane and she took it. Bermudez kind of played it, kind of shaded it to that side, but it only really works if you really have help down that lane, but didn't really have much. So just an easy basket and an easy take.
Alicia Young on the drive, left hand, and it finds the bottom of the net. There's a great drive there by the sophomore.
Yeah, what a drive by Alicia Young there. Quick down low pass.
And Centrula going to put it up, no good. Sierra Bermudez with the clutch rebound and the pass to Nina Shaw. Nina Shaw over to Jordan Smith. Smith looking down low. She's going to drive baseline. And they're going to say that she stepped on the line before getting the pass off, and it's going to come back the other way for the Crimson Hawks.
Again, as we said before, having that court awareness and knowing where your feet are at times, especially when driving the baseline and driving near the corner, definitely want to watch where you're at to avoid that quick turnover.
And another blocking foul there on Deja Terrell. She kind of just got in the way and planted her feet a little bit too early at the top of the key, and she's now picked up her third foul after going most of the first half not in foul trouble.
Yeah, I'm honestly surprised for the Vulcans that they haven't called more fouls on them, because there's been quite a few times where they come up to hedge that screen, and there's been a lot of contact. Contact doesn't necessarily mean a foul, but it's just been a lot of it to the point where you think they wouldn't give them any more room.
Great follow-up defense there by Deja Terrell, stopping Ramina Henderson on the drive. The Vulcans coming back, trying to answer as they want to cut this lead down to single digits here, if possible. Nina Shaw at the top of the key. She gets it to Alicia Young. A little bit of a miscommunication. Looks like Young was coming up to set a screen and got the ball instead. Another miscommunication there on the pass to Deja Terrell. The drive by Young, no good, and the rebound by Centrula. Bachman bringing it up the court, gives it over to Cerro. Cerro on the drive, the readjustment, no good. Deja Terrell with the rebound.
Lucky break for the Vulcans, and able to get the ball on that 5-on-4 essentially, as Young was a little bit slow to the other side of the court.
IUP's done a great job of capitalizing on numbers anytime they've gotten it throughout the game. So like Hunter said, a great move there. And they're going to call it out on Nina Shaw and a little bit of a miscue with her and Ramina Henderson there. And it's going to come back in favor of IUP.
Yeah, last couple of possessions for the Vulcans have just been a little bit rough. Passes have just been too lazy, or just a little bit one too many miscommunications.
They were in the locker room for a long time in that second half. Didn't get out here until about 2 minutes on the clock, so you have to think there was a lot being said. And right there, the cutting Preston gets the feed and finishes with the left hand.
Yeah, at this point in time, you have to. Learning tendencies is such an important factor. Learn which players like to shoot, learn which players like to drive. Learn the plays and see which plays that they're running, and see if they like to shoot layups off of it and whatnot. But it's just been a couple times where they've just given up one too many easy shots.
Bermudez forces up the long three on their end, and then the follow-up in transition, trying to find Ramina Henderson under the basket, off of her hands and out of bounds. So the Vulcans going to come back the other way. Building on to your point there, Braxton, I think figuring out tendencies and just seeing, the way that IUP played throughout the first quarter, cutting, finding ways to the basket, getting in the lane. The Vulcans have to find a way to try to put that to a stop. The handoff from Nina Shaw to Bermudez. Pass over to Jordan Smith. Smith into the middle to Deja Terrell. Once again, another miscommunication as she tried to tip it back out to Jordan Smith, who was kind of running away from the ball. They're going to call a jump ball, and I believe this will be in favor of IUP.
Yeah, the miscommunications really haunting the Vulcans right now, as Deja kind of just tipped it back towards Smith there. Smith not really realizing right away what was going on, and then had to dive on that basketball.
I have to think frustrations are boiling a little bit here for the Vulcans, and instead of getting upset at each other or anything like that, they got to try to figure it out sooner rather than later, as there's only 16 minutes left to go in this game. Ramina Henderson with the three from the right side, no good. Jordan Smith with the rebound.
They were lucky that one didn't fall, as we said before, with the man outside on the key has always had a tendency to haunt them.
The miss there by Deja Terrell on the mid-range jumper. Maria Cerro coming back the other way, gets the screen from Centrilla. Pass over to Preston, down low to Centrilla. She's got all the room in the world and finishes the lay-in underneath.
Yeah.
One thing you got to watch is that big body down low underneath the net. Centrula using all of her 6'1" frame in order to be that presence underneath that's just been haunting the Vulcans so far this game.
Centrilla, the transfer from Mercyhurst, making herself known in this game. Jordan Smith with a deep three, no good, and the rebound by Alicia Harris. And they're going to call a push-off there on Ramina Henderson before Harris was able to get the rebound. The ball will be placed under the basket. Some substitutions coming into the game as Iona Williams checks in for Jordan Smith, and Jadea Scott checks in to the game for Maria Cerro.
Vulcans right now, without having scored in the last 3 minutes and 40 seconds, 3 turnovers in a row and 0 for 5.
Deja Terrell continuing to struggle as she can't capitalize on the spin move there. Gennaro with the ball up top. Gets it over to Centrilla. Centrilla looks down low to Preston. They're going to call a hold on Bermudez before Preston even got the ball. And that ball will also be placed under the basket in favor of the Crimson Hawks.
And right now, they've been trying to front the post, which, don't get me wrong, is definitely always a good strategy if you have, I guess, the size really and the help, especially on the backside with it underneath. But right now, I haven't really yet to see them play behind. It kind of make them work from that point on. You know what I mean?
Bachman just looking so comfortable out there for the Crimson Hawks. Still leading all scorers with 9 or 10 so far, as she is just finding her jumper on the floor. Alicia Harris, pass over to Bermudez. Bermudez is yet to get going for this Vulcan squad. She has 1-3 in the first half. Deja Terrell with the aggressive move in the paint, and she finishes with the right hand.
Finally, Deja gets her first points of the game. Quite rare this far into the game, and Deja just now with her first points.
Centrilla can't finish as she finds herself too far under the rim. Deja Terrell with the rebound and the pass to Nina Shaw. Nina Shaw going to drive to the left side, and she's going to get her shot rejected by Tiara Preston underneath. And that'll take us to the media timeout as IUP kind of carries some of the momentum going into our first media timeout of the second half. Score being 40-26 in their favor. Kind of building on your point there, Braxton. I mean, they're just seems like the first couple possessions of this half has been filled with some lazy passes and maybe some miscommunications, and they really got to tidy this up because before they know it, it's going to be about 5 minutes, to 8 minutes left in this game, and it's going to be too late.
Yeah, and in any game, you never want to lose to yourself. You never want to have an abundance of mental errors and miscommunications within your own team. You want it to be coming from the other team, but it's never good to shoot yourself in the foot, almost, and dig yourself even further in the hole. And on the defensive end, right now the Vulcans, as I was saying earlier, right now IUP has gotten a number of points off of lobs into the post, just because there's no defense on the help side. With that, that's just too easy. There's almost no use to fronting if you're not going to have help defense over the backside. So right now, if anything, I'd say play behind them and make them work for the post. At least see what they've been able to do, because right now they haven't had to work much for an easy shot inside.
Seem like the Vulcans are kind of a step behind when it comes to their defensive play, as each pass into the post, they're kind of trying to get back into their positions instead of already being there, kind of like you said, fronting the post instead of playing behind it. And we talked about the importance last game about staying in between the offensive player and the basket, and California just not doing a good job of that here early in the second half. Nina Shaw with it in the corner. She gets double teamed. The pass down low to Deja Terrell off the backboard, no good. Alicia Harris with the follow, and they'll call that foul on the floor. The ball will stay under the basket. This team has such a potential that sometimes they just fail to reach because of miscues amongst themselves, but they're going to need to tidy it up here pretty quickly. Nina Shaw with the pass down low to Alicia Harris. Alicia Harris loses it on the way up, gets it back to Shaw. Shaw cannot recover as the pass was just out of her reach, and it's coming back the other way.
Yeah, this Crimson Hawk pressure is definitely starting to get to the Vulcans. Just keeps over and over, just keeps forcing those turnovers and forcing the Vulcans essentially on the back foot in both offense and on defense.
Preston with it. She's going to drive on the right side, and they're going to call a block on Alicia Harris, and she will go to the line and shoot two.
Yeah. Alicia Harris came over just a bit late, especially to try to take that charge. The help defense has just been just a tad late here by the Vulcans, and then Preston had a wide open lane to the basket, and so that's, of course, an easy trip to the foul line.
Preston only a 59% free throw shooter on the year, but she's able to knock down the first. The graduate student from York, PA, finishing up her career here, averaging nearly a double-double with 9.8 points per game and 9 rebounds. Right there, just another miscue from the Vulcans.
Yeah, those miscues just continually just rearing their ugly heads as that pass just sails over Nina Shaw's head, unable to haul it in. And that's going to give the Crimson Hawks the ball on their side of the court.
Yeah, that's now 5 turnovers in the last 5 minutes and 14 seconds of this game.
Jeez, turnover a minute. Not a stat that you want.
Maya Williams did check into the game for Deja Terrell for the Vulcans, and right now Scott at the top of the key kind of loses her footing. And if this is another jump ball, it's going to be in favor of the Vulcans, and that it is. So it'll come back the other way. So good break there by the California Vulcans. Nina Shaw with it, guarded by Cerro. She's going to fake the drive to the right side and pass down low to Iona Williams. Iona Williams with a bit of a fadeaway. And they're going to call it the other way. It must have been an off-ball foul.
Yeah, they're going to get Alicia Harris on that.
Yep.
Once again, just not really an efficient shot from the California Vulcans. They're used to kind of taking their time and seeing where they can exploit the defense. And right there, just to fade away from the corner is not necessarily what you're looking for. Ramina Henderson on the drive. She's going to travel before she can get the ball up.
Yeah, just took one step too many there. Last time I checked, you got at least like 2 steps for a layup, not like 3 or 4 there.
Deja Terrell checking back into the game for Alicia Harris. You got to think Terrell's presence on the floor is going to be vital in these last 13 minutes of this game as they still find themselves down 15. This might be their biggest deficit of the night. Williams with the pass over to Bermudez. Back over to Kamaya Williams. Down low to Deja Terrell. She's got the smaller defender on her. The pivot, the pump fake, puts it up. No good, but she will go to the line, 4-2.
Deja Terrell really still looking to get going right now. 1 of 12 from the field. Now it will be the second time in this quarter she will head to the foul line.
Centrula now checks into the game for Tiara Preston.
Deja Terrell, 71% free throw shooter, 6 double-doubles on the year, 5th in the PSAC in rebounding, and 2nd in blocks. Connects on the first of 2 free throws. She's been slowly bringing that points per game up each contest as the offensive rebound there by Kamaya Williams, helped by Iona Williams. Nina Shaw pass to Kamaya, over to Sierra Bermudez, 4-3. No good as it goes off the rim and backboard, no good.
An offensive rebound, definitely something you don't see too much, especially with foul shots.
Ramina Henderson finds her first 3 of the night as she's looking to get her jumper going, and she's up to 12.
I'm not going to lie, that was a very clean shot by Henderson. Looked like she was very comfortable shooting that shot as Terrell gets that quick layup.
Deja Terrell just trying to be as physical as she can down low on offense to make her way to the bucket as she is now 2 for 13 on the night. And a great strip there by Sierra Bermudez, and she's going to bring it back the other way for the Vulcans.
Man, Bermudez timed that just right. Backside help is always the, I guess, worst thing for a post player. Never really know when they're coming around.
Deja Terrell looking to heat up a little bit as she hits the mid-range jumper from the corner. And all of a sudden, this game is down to a 13-point lead. Still a lot to work with, but the Vulcans trying to chip away as efficiently as possible. The pass to Centrilla gets tipped by Kamaya Williams and picked up by Sierra Bermudez, and once again they force a turnover as Nina Shaw brings it up. Gets it to Bermudez, who pump fakes on the drive. The floater off the front rim and no good. Iona Williams offensive board, no good as it just rolls off the front rim. It'll go off of Centrilla and stay on this end.
Tough break there to get the ball to stay on this side of the court.
Bachman checks into the game for Scott. 1:25 left in this third quarter. Score being 44-31 in favor of the Crimson Hawks.
Did we jump to Iowa for some real quick?
Iona Williams on the drive, throws it up. She is going to get fouled, and she'll head to the line for 2.
Yeah, Iona Williams haven't really yet to get going on the offensive end. Hasn't really, only shooting 3 from the field. This will be the first time tonight she's going to head to the foul line. I said, if anyone on this team right now, Iona Williams is so crucial to this Vulcans offense right now. I guess one thing you just hope she keeps up the aggressiveness.
Second shot is good there. So 2 points there for Williams. Definitely 2 points to continue to chip away at the lead.
Vulcans now falling into a 3-2, like I mentioned earlier, trying a little bit something different just to throw them off.
Find over to Ramina Henderson. She's going to put up another 3, and she's going to connect once again. She's looking to heat up at the end of this third quarter.
Again, that I keep stressing that man open on the side of the key for that quick three-pointer. Henderson feeling really comfortable having no one on to guard her. Just puts it up and gets it to fall as she steals that pass.
Sarah coming back the other way, gets it to Bachman, back to Sarah. Up top to Centrilla. Over to Henderson. Henderson fakes the pass, goes to the drive. Off the rim and no good.
Shot clock is now dead for this third quarter. Bermudez tried to save it. Doesn't get it. Drive there. Has it blocked again. And Kamai Williams picking it up. Over to Bermudez. One-on-one. Shot clock is now gone. Has that one rejected by Centrula. And it's going to stay this way for the Vulcans.
Great drive there by Bermudez, but just not able to capitalize. Angel Henry checking into the game for Nina Shaw, getting one of her rare breaks here with only 10 seconds remaining in the third period. Anna Williams kind of fumbles the inbound. Ball on the floor. I'm sure they're going to call a jump. I believe that'll stay on, or actually no, that'll go back the other way for IUP. So good break there for the Crimson Hawks. Checking into the game is Janera Scott for Nashay Weaver. .3 on the clock. Pass in to Sarah. Sarah running up the court. She beats Deja Terrell on a wide open layup but misses. Sierra Bermudez with the rebound and nothing will come of it. As that takes us to the end of the third quarter. And 47-33 in favor of IUP. And I'm going to kind of pass it over to Hunter Garman here just to kind of see what's ahead for both of these teams.
Yeah, so looking quickly for the Crimson Hawks, their next game will be Wednesday the 31st here at the KCAC. Actually, no, I lied. They're going to be away at Clarion, and then they'll be away at Mercyhurst on February 7th. And then on February 10th, they come back to the KCAC to play Gannon, the Gannon Golden Knights. And for the Vulcans, they are home this Wednesday at 5:30 against Edinburgh. And then February 3rd on Saturday, they travel away to Erie to face the Golden Knights of Gannon. And then February 7th, they travel to then Seton Hill to play the Griffins.
Talking about that game against Gannon coming up next Saturday. Well, this upcoming Saturday. It's going to be a big game. Last time those two teams met in the Convocation Center, it came down to a free throw with no time on the clock. And a miss by Sierra Bermudez that caused the Vulcans to lose by 1. And I mean, Gannon being number 2 in all of Division II, undefeated in the conference at 12-0. I'm sure California's going to be looking to knock them off of their high horse.
I will say if they can come back here in these final 10 minutes and pull this win off, then they definitely they definitely will have that spark of hope to then travel to Gannon to knock them off, as you said, their high horse. But first, they got to get through the final 10 minutes and take down this win here against the Crimson Hawks.
Following this game, like we said, they will be playing Edinburgh on Wednesday at home, so hopefully maybe a little home trip will be exactly what they need, but 10 minutes left in this game, anything can happen. They're going to be needing some kind of a run early on here to get back into it. Nina Shaw at the top, guarded by Sarah. Pass down low to Williams, all the room in the world, who finishes with the left hand.
Henderson trying to argue her case a little bit. Thought she got pushed over by Williams. Ref says no, which is why Williams was left wide open.
Sarah with the pass out to Centrilla, who shoots the 3, no good. Rebound by Bermudez, and the Vulcans all of a sudden can cut this down to single digits with a 3, or down to 10 with a 2. Nina Shaw guarded by Sarah. Dribbling, finds Iona Williams. Williams looking to get aggressive. Goes to the left side, off the rim, and no good. Rebound comes all the way out to Nina Shaw. Back to Williams, in the middle to Deja Terrell. She's going to put up the mid-range jumper off the front rim and no good. Centrilla with the rebound.
Every missed shot for the Vulcans now is vital in order to cut this lead down and try and take down this win, as that drive is not what you want to see for the Vulcans.
Great drive there by Maria Cerro. She gets past Kamaya Williams and gets it off the backboard to go. Lead back up to 14. Williams with the pass into Kamaya Williams. Kamaya Williams posting up, using her pivot move, and she loves that spin as she finds it off the backboard for her first 2 points of this half.
Yeah, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's as we've seen previously, just seems to be her go-to move, and she seems to be comfortable at it. So why change anything?
Romina Henderson, another three, and I mean that just feels like a dagger even with 8 minutes to go, as that increases their lead back up to 15, which has tied their biggest lead of the game.
Yeah, Henderson now 3 of 5 from deep, so she's feeling it now.
Nina Shaw with the ball, gets the screen from Deja Terrell. She's going to drive to the rim. They're going to call a jump ball as Centrula kind of got her hands on it, and it's going to come back the other way. Interesting call there by the ref, but definitely wasn't enough contact for a foul. And considering the ball was kind of in possession of both players, can't call travel either.
Yeah, IUP has just done an absolutely wonderful job in clogging up the lanes, really not giving it much room for the Vulcans to work with at all.
Great steal there by freshman Kamaya Williams. She gives it up to Nina Shaw, and Nina Shaw is going to slow it down. Finds Bermudez. Bermudez gets it to Kamaya. Kamaya looking around. She wants to get to Deja, but not open. Finds Iona Williams down low, who's going to go up with it. They're going to call a foul. I'm not sure if it was on the shot or if it was away from the ball. And it looks like it was away from the ball on the rebound over there between Deja Terrell and Tiara Preston.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to get Preston on the push foul.
Janera Scott checking back into the game for Cerro. Nina Shaw inbounding it for the Vulcans. Deja Terrell with it with the Preston on her. Out to Shaw. Shaw going to put up a three. Off the front rim and no good. The great tip out, though, by Iona Williams. Bermudez picks it up. The floater off the board is good.
Bermudez is especially gonna have to learn how to love that shot, especially as teams start to chase her off the three-point line, and she capitalizes there.
Bermudez talked after the Pitt Johnstown game about it being a little bit of pressure, being one of the go-to shooters on this team, but they're definitely going to need her help in these last couple minutes. It's Henderson on the drive, the high floater, no good as it almost falls, but comes out. And Deja Terrell with the rebound.
You knew if that shot fell, this crowd would have been electric, just based on the way the crowd just let out that huge sigh of defeat almost.
Bermudez finds Terrell. Terrell at the top of the key. Gets it over to Nina Shaw. She's going to set a screen for Shaw. Back over to Terrell. Terrell looking to get going. Shoots a mid-range jumper. Hand in her face and makes it anyway.
Yeah, Terrell's definitely starting to feel it at this point in the game. And right now, good things are coming for Terrell. She just sits and waits and lets the game come to her. Right now, slow the game down to your tempo and let your shots come when they come.
Great drive there by Janera Scott as she finishes the rim. And for every single bucket that the Vulcans get, IUP just seems to have an answer. Nina Shaw at the top, guarded by Scott. The handoff to Iona Williams. The pass to Deja Terrell. Preston playing as aggressive as she can on her. Over to Bermudez, who hasn't really found much success tonight. The drive off the board, no good. And the rebound by Centrilla. Sierra Bermudez and Deja Terrell combining to be 7 of 30 on the night. Their two premium scorers not really getting the job done overall, and you can tell it's taking an effect on their team as they only have 35 minutes into this game. Big group substitution for the Vulcans is Alicia Harris, Alicia Young, and Jordan Smith check into the game for Iona Williams, Deja Terrell, and Bermudez. And Bachman also checking into the game for Tiara Preston. Or I'm sorry, Weaver checking into the game for Preston. Centrilla on the drive. Stops, gives it out to Scott. Scott going to the rim, passes it out to Centrilla. Centrilla on the great find to Nashay Weaver for two.
That's the one problem when you're collapsing in on the player with the ball. It always leaves someone open, and it just happened to be the down low look underneath the net for the quick and easy layup for the Crimson Hawks.
Alicia Harris with it at the top of the key, finds Jordan Smith. Smith's yet to get going yet tonight. Nina Shaw with the little fake pass drive, nothing there. Alicia Young gets it for the Vulcans, and it gets blocked by Centrilla. That's her third block of the night, as she's just been so active on the defensive end. The pass over to Bachman, another three for her. And man, that's not the dagger. I'm not sure what is.
Didn't even have to think about it. She just threw it up there. It almost looked like the old Steph Curry where he throws it up there, know it's going to go in regardless. And as luck have it, it falls perfectly.
It's Bachman's third three of the night for the Crimson Hawks. The follow there by Alicia Harris. She's going to get fouled, go to the line for two. That'll take us to our final media timeout as IUP with their largest lead of the night, 59-41, as they seem to want to take full control of number 2 in the PSAC West with a win here. Ramina Henderson, the leading scorer in this game with 18, as she's kind of picked it up in the second half with 3 3-pointers. And I mean, back to a point that I made earlier, she has not gone a game this season under 12 points. She's just been as consistent as they come, and she's doing a great job tonight for the Crimson Hawks.
Yeah, we knew going into this game that it was going to be a battle of essentially the Titans, you know, fighting for that second place spot. Who was going to get it? Who was going to fall to third? And unless something drastic happens in these final 4.5 minutes, we can kind of infer what's going to happen at the end of this game.
Yeah. I mean, we are 5 days removed from this California Vulcans team scoring 89 points in a game. All of a sudden, with less than 5 minutes to go, they're at 41 points, shooting just 25% from the floor, 16 for 64. I mean, when you have those kind of numbers, it's hard to stay competitive in a game like this. Crowd continues to fill up as we do have the men's game following this between two of the top teams in the PSAC West for the men's side, as both teams go into that contest at 10-2 in the conference. And stay tuned for that, because that'll be an interesting one as well. 5 on the floor for the Vulcans: Alicia Harris, Kamaya Williams, Alicia Young, Nina Shaw, and Jordan Smith. 5 on the floor for the Crimson Hawks: Tiara Preston, Maria Cerro, Kira Ballman, and Janera Scott. Alicia Harris connects on one of 2 free throws. And the Crimson Hawks going to come back the other way with a 17-point lead, 4.5 to play. Henderson hands it off to Scott. Scott gets the screen and finds Weaver. I don't know how that pass got through.
My goodness.
She gets fouled on the come up, and I believe she'll go to the line for 2.
It was impressive the ball managed to get to where it was. A lot of contact was there, a lot of bodies in and around the basketball at the same time.
Janera Scott's just been able to bring that little bit of a spark off the bench for the Crimson Hawks, as the side judge will come over and say that she believes the ball should be under the basket, and so it will be. Sarah on the pass in. Looking for anybody. Jordan Smith jumping like crazy to stop the ball. The save there by Preston, the save there by Scott, but she's going to step out. The Vulcans will get it back.
Mr. Preston on that one there could have let that ball go. I say that backcourt violation doesn't come into play until you have control of the ball. I think she would have been okay if she just would have waited a little bit.
Alicia Harris on the drive. And once again, she'll get fouled and head to the line for the second consecutive possession. As Weaver's 4th. We're getting late in this game. Nobody's really been in too much foul trouble as her and Alicia Harris, the only ones with 4 fouls on either team. She'll check out, and I believe she'll get a little bit of a standing ovation from the crowd behind her. Harris' first free throw is good.
Some of the crowd they're getting into the old try and throw off the foul shot. As the thunder starts and the screams happen. Second one is no good.
A rebound there by Preston, and she will get it to Cerro. She brings it up the floor. The IUP with a 16-point lead, just under 4 to play. Pass down low to Preston. A great defensive play there by Nina Shaw to strip it out last second, but it'll stay on this end.
Yeah, I'm not even sure she was looking when she swatted at that ball.
Deja Terrell checking back into the game for Alicia Harris, or I'm sorry, Alicia Young. Sarah on the pass in. And it's going to get tipped around. Jordan Smith comes up with it. California coming back the other way.
Don't think Jordan Smith was expecting to get the ball there. Just kind of appeared in front of her face. She managed to pick it up and take it all the way to the other part, or the other half of the court.
Jordan Smith with it now, guarded by Henderson. Asking for a screen from Harris. She gets it. Looking down low, she throws up some kind of shot, and it's no good. And the rebound by Sarah. Sarah on the drive to the left side. She's going to bring it back out. Gets it to Scott. Scott down low to Centrilla. Centrilla, the fadeaway jumper, and that falls.
Good look, good take there by Grace Centrilla. Able to get the step back fade and just keep extending this lead for the Crimson Hawks.
It's at the point now where really you're just trying to make it somewhat respectable. Just over 2.5 minutes to play. They find themselves down 18. They're going to have to put up some threes or at least get going quickly on offense if they want any chance in this game. Jordan Smith, the great drive, and she gets her first basket of the night as she's been pretty quiet. Sarah bringing it up the court, and I'm sure IUP is going to be in no rush to get their offense going. As I believe we will head to our media timeout. I'm not sure if we had gotten one. Or IUP calls for the timeout before the foul comes through.
Man, that last possession there, that shot by Smith, the one that she forced up, I believe I heard someone count down on the shot clock, and as their team does normally, they count down on 10 seconds, I believe. I mean, you hear it so much, I guess it's just almost muscle memory, especially to think it's coming from your team, but it's kind of forced up, which was unfortunate. Yeah,
as they said, this timeout, or as the rule went, the first timeout that's called in the second half is a media length timeout, so that's why this timeout lasting a little bit longer than 30 seconds here.
61-45 in favor of the Crimson Hawks. 2 minutes and 20 seconds to play, and you have to think at this point they're just looking to close out this game and secure the number 2 spot in the PSAC West. California won't fall far behind, though, as Wednesday will wrap up the first half of PSAC play. So they will see this team again, and they'll have to travel to the Convocation Center to do so. So I'm sure that will be highlighted on their calendar going forward.
As you were saying, Andrew, definitely will be facing this team again, but this time at their own home court. If this ends up just becoming a little bit of a speed bump in the road for the women's team, it definitely could be an interesting game when the Hawks come to the Convocation Center for the second game of the season.
Really, you just got to use this game as a learning point if you're the Vulcans and kind of build on it, and as the miss there by Bachman and the rebound by Deja Terrell. But the Vulcans just need to be able to use this game and learn from it and bounce back in a way that they've hoped for. And a great find there by Nina Shaw to Alicia Harris. Host Edinburgh at home on Wednesday. You got to think they're hoping for a bounce back win there to lead them into that important game against Gannon on Saturday. Another game that they'll have to travel to and that will be in front of a bigger crowd than they're used to, so they'll have to figure it out sooner rather than later. Scott for 3 from the right side off the back rim and no good. Deja Terrell diving on the floor for the rebound and gets it and gives it up to Bermudez. Bermudez finds Harris. Harris on the transition, misses the lay-in, gets her own rebound and puts it back up and in. All of a sudden, we do have a 12-point game, but it might be a little bit too late as there's only a minute 20 left on the clock.
I was going to say, bearing some absolute lockdown defense and high-scoring offense, you'd think that a 12-point game, it's pretty much safe to say a done deal. But again, we've seen crazier things happen, so this game is definitely not over just yet.
61-49. in favor of the Hawkeyes, or the Crimson Hawks. I don't know what makes me want to
We're
talk
traveling to
about
Iowa
here, but
We're traveling to Iowa again.
I will say they've had the lead for the majority of this game, and I mean, even from the beginning, the first quarter, getting off to that fast start, you can see how that's benefited them. Ending the first quarter with a 9-point lead, and now up 12. You got to think that, I mean, getting off fast starts is just as important as ending the game strong, and that's been their kind of recipe for success here in today's matchup. It's California pressing a little bit to try to get the ball back right away. Cerro breaks the press pretty easily. She gets it to Henderson and back to Cerro. They're going to take their time and get as much time off this clock as they can.
Yeah, I was going to say, they're just going to let this clock bleed out. Probably just get the shot clock down to just the last shot to try and take as much time as possible.
The illegal screen there by Preston. And it'll come back the other way in favor of the Vulcans as Nina Shaw took a hit to the floor.
That's Preston's 4th foul of the game, so she's in a little bit of foul trouble. But then again, it is the final minute of this game, so don't think they're too worried about that.
Shaw over to Kamai Williams. Williams thought about the three, doesn't take it though. Wanted to get it to Alicia Harris, but a little bit late of a pass. Harris still comes up with it, gets her shot blocked, but they do call a foul. She'll go to the line for 2 for the 3rd time this half, staying aggressive.
Yeah, they're going to get Centrula on, I guess it looked like a block, but I think she went over the head too much and ended up getting the arm a little bit there.
Alicia Harris looking to become the leading scorer for the Vulcans in this game. She misses the first. So far, she's at 10 points in the contest, coming off the bench in this game, not something she's too used to. Second one no good as well. And they're going to call a foul there, I believe, on Deja Terrell. That's her 4th. But like Hunter said, kind of the last minute of the game, I don't really think anybody's counting fouls in a 12-point contest.
Well, I mean, they are. It's just that it's not as vital as it would be if I don't know, it's like the second half or the second quarter or something.
Passing to Sarah, she's kind of getting just absolutely bombarded, but breaks the press herself. And she's going to slow things down here. 11-second difference between the shot clock and game clock, so they won't be able to get the clock all the way down, but pretty far. And a foul there on Alicia Harrison. A little bit of emotion there by Amina Henderson. I'm not sure what that was all about, but it's only the 4th foul for the Vulcans, so it'll still be a pass in from the sideline.
Yeah, that's Alicia Harris's 5th foul, so that's going to be her game finished tonight as number 3, Alicia Young, checks into the game for the final 24 seconds.
Cerro on the inbound, finds Bachman. Bachman's had a great game tonight for the Crimson Hawks. Gets the screen from Centrolo. Great crossover to get past Kamai Williams. The floater off the front rim and no good. Under 10 seconds to go here. Deja Terrell running the floor. She's going to lay it in. And that'll just about do it here. As IUP secures the win here at the KCAC, 61-51, and they will secure the number 2 spot in the PSAC West. Any final words from my 2 gentlemen on my side?
This game almost seemed to be IUP from the get-go. Cal Vulcans came back a couple times, but just, I guess,
just wasn't enough.
Yeah, IUP going shot for shot when the Vulcans also started to hit.
Stay tuned as the men's game follows next here in 25 minutes. Thank you for listening as this has been CUTV Sports 1 and the PSAC Network.
Good night.